And I play on RustEZ Survival PvE. Modded server. Holy crap! It's that time of year again? Yes, Merry RUSTmas, folks. This will be my first RUSTmas, actually. I only started playing about 70 days ago. But I'm not here to talk about my dang history. We're not here to look at my beautiful house. We're not here to look at the rust rug or my fully functioning kitchen. Or the bathroom over there. We're here to look at one of the newest things to Rust, electricity. So what I'm going to do is we are going to run over to my little single quarry over here. Over here I have 4 of them put together. And I'm going to show you a little power routine that I learned from pretty much one person specifically on YouTube. Now, a lot of people got into the electricity thing early, and I got into it late because I was busy working on my quarries. And I went and watched about 8 different YouTubers, many of them having as much as like 64,000 subscribers, or more or less, maybe even 153,000 subscribers. I'm just using that as a reference, nobody in particular. But they all had, a billion subscribers. And I left watching their videos confused. Didn't really answer my questions. I did watch some of the stuff they did, and it made sense. But nothing really as clear as watching one person, who at the time had 153 subscribers. Still plenty more than mine. And he had the most informative videos. His name is Thumper Bunny on YouTube. And his videos made the most sense. And he's always trying things and stuff, little routines and stuff like that. And it all made sense. I said to myself, I can do this. So I came over here to my quarry. It has 30 lights in there approximately. And I put together this little routine based on things that I'd seen him do. And I kind of drew this out, and this is what I put on the wall. And I'll kind of explain what this entire thing is in a minute. But we're going to do it on a different wall because I have another wall where I've already got a unit set up. And I'm going to wipe it out and start fresh. We'll get to that in a second. But this is a simple routine. I'm going to explain basically what this is when we get over there and we start rebuilding. But this was the first one I built. And the whole idea of this video, besides, well, I'll tell you, before I made this video, I had no intention of making this video. But I was very proud of the things that I'd learned from, that's right, Thumper Bunny. And so I put this thing together, and this wasn't the one I'm talking about, but I put this together and I was really proud of it. So I built my other routine at my 4-part quarry, and I loved it. And, it took me a while to figure it all out because it was my first time through, and it's a huge mess. But I had people over there standing there looking at it because they were amazed by it, but they didn't understand it. So I told them that this weekend I was going to wipe the whole thing out. It's my baby, too, I'll tell you. Because this was my first one. The other one's my second time trying, and we'll get to that. So, through the magic of Weez and Geezer TV, we are going to head over to the big plant, Weez and Power and Light. Okay, here we are at Weez and Power and Light in County Jail. This is a double quarry here. Quarry here, quarry on the other one. Tore out the wall in the middle. Double quarry here, but you can consider it like a triple quarry because one section is nothing but pump jacks, which I have everything on silent right now so that I can make this video without a bunch of noise or too much. So this is Wheezing Power and Light in County Jail. What do you think, Thumper? Huh? You create a monster or what? Now the thing is, I've got my quarry set up. As you see, there's 4 quarries, and I built this in the middle. It's really almost like 5 because I have an area for the pump jacks. And so I've got it broke down into different sections of the place. Because let's say the power did go out. I have it set so that the first one to go out will be the farthest in the back, in that part of the quarry, and then the farthest back over on this side of the quarry, you know, the quarries that were over here, before anything in the front. And nothing's going to lose power anyway, but that's the way it's designed, so that it's front, back. Then you'll see down there where it says 30s, the 30s in that line. That is for this building. Gets 30, and I'm not using 30 units. I'm going to be able to decrease that. I just haven't done it. This is just when I first put the whole thing together. And 30 at the other one is for the little warehouse thing where I have free stone at all Wheezing locations. You can bet on it. And I'm going to be able to bring that number down too. I just allocated that much to it. But I'm sure that he kind of understands what I got there, even though it's just this huge crossfire mess. The whole idea is that I'm going to wipe this whole thing out and clean it all up and kind of expand it down the wall a little bit, because I didn't intend for this to be on video. This was me Frankensteining this thing to understand it and give myself a project and follow through with it all the way to the end to where it worked exactly how I wanted it to. And we're set up with 7 backup batteries. When we redo this, we're going to redo it with 6. The other one is kind of redundant to have it, so I'll show you what I mean. If you're building a power plant of your own, whether it's a small one or a big one, but specifically if you're in a big one and it's kind of away from your workbench and stuff, you really need to build a workbench 1 so you can create parts and have a repair bench close by, including storage, which is really nice when you're working on a project this big, because you are going to be picking up things a lot. And every time you pick something up, it degrades its abilities. So every time you pick something up, you're going to have to repair it. It's nice to have a whole bunch of extras and just, you know, continue on with your work, and then your pack is full of stuff that needs repaired, and you go repair it and come back here and you start Frankensteining your machine together. But this is what we're going to tear apart and put together so that it makes sense, because I had a lot of people come here and look at this, and even though I explained what I was doing, they were totally lost. So I'm going to do it in simple routines down the wall, and hopefully it all makes sense. I'm hoping the person that I learned all this stuff from, and I attribute most of that, 90-some% probably, to Thumper Bunny. So I'll tell you, there's nothing more enjoyable than to build something like this in like 6 or 7 phases, and expect, as you can see, it's getting nighttime and stuff, and the numbers are dropping. You love to watch your system fail and your battery backup jump in exactly when it's supposed to. It's just so nice watching its heartbeat slow down to where everything just fades off and can't produce anymore, and your backup batteries all kick in and everything's fine. So we're going to get to that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this whole thing apart, and then we're going to start building the entire wall. This is going to be a long video, but the whole idea is that you're going to learn something from it. Maybe there's something that you've been missing that will be explained, and some things that I just won't explain. I'm not a teacher. But let's do this. Oh, and the lights came on. What do you think of that? And that means the lights came on in all of my quarries all at the same time. And right now, battery backup is available at every station. But those of you who already know what's going on here or understand it, you'll see that you're not seeing the power from the backup battery because I've kind of sanctioned everything down so that it's micromanaged to the point where I don't accept battery backup help, even though it's constantly there. The feed is there, and power is being dissipated somewhere into the air. I'm just not accepting its help until my system actually fails. Let's get to it. What we got here to start off with is we have 2 lines coming down. The one on coming down to the last combiner switch or box, and on the left side is our wind power, and on the right side is our solar power. From there, we are going to run a. I'm going to put in a box. Let me put in some of these units down here on the bottom. Prepare myself a little bit better. Guess I better leave something. Alright, so let's put a box in here because I am a freak for knowing how much power is going where. Let me see. Let me put some other stuff in first because I want to put some stuff in ahead of time so I know how much space I have to work with. So I'm going to put in 60 boxes along the wall here. So I need those, and then I'll put that one up above it probably. Don't worry about those lines. We already know they're there. And the reason I'm putting these up, because this is we're going to be using a lot of this wall. I'm using this to show how much each one of my batteries, my backup batteries, will be recharging. I actually have 7, but I think I'm only going to need 6 of them for this, and I can just hang on to the other one. It's just currently, sitting there, fully charged. So I'm going to kind of build around that. And the reason I left that is because I don't want to have to restring everything, so it'll be a little uglier. But yeah, I should be able to put it right up there. And we're going to run a line around to that. This may not be the prettiest thing when we're done, but it'll be functional. So as you can see, we got lots of power coming in, and right now, I'm currently just going to run it around. This will all be muddied up later. But I'll try to at least leave it so that the lines are crisp enough that you can kind of make out everything. Now, what we've done here is I put those indicators in because I'm going to use those later. Your basic setup, you're not going to need those. And I'll get to that in a minute. So what we got going here is we got power coming in. We got 1368 combined power coming out. Going up here to this box, we want to configure it by hitting, holding E and pulling down to where it says show pass-through, because we are going to be worried only about the amount of power coming through and not things like timers and counters and switches and things like that. From here, we are going to, what did I want to put there? Okay. Oh yeah, we're going to put in a branch, because our power is going to branch off from here. We're going to take our initial power, just connect to that, and then we'll be able to take that. We're going to go down to the bottom over here. This we are going to take I'm going to leave that for a moment. Now, please understand, this is still fairly fresh to me, but you'll understand as we go along. Trust me, I got your interests at stake here as well. Okay. start with that one. We're going to connect the branch side. You always want to connect the branch side first, then you can use the power side. If you only use one side here, like if this was going to your ore box or something like that, you have to use the branch side. If you use the power side, trust me, it's not going to work. I can't explain to you why. It just does not work. So we're going to come from this. I think I can run right next to that, pretty close, to kind of keep it understandable, because we're going to have a lot of wires going through it by the time we're done. Close enough so that it reads me here. We're going to go to that. We're going to change that to pass through so that we read everything. Right now we are just going to configure this. What we're doing here is this is our power coming through, which is going to be 1606. See, they need to make these displays bigger or the numbers smaller so that we can get enough numbers in there for us people that are freaks. But we have to configure this for the amount of power that we want to send through to the whole unit. I know for a fact the amount of power that I need for my entire unit is going to be 300, and about 355 will get us by. So we're just going to set that for 355 right now. So we will have 354 because each unit that you plug something into takes 1 unit of power. So that is power that we're going to use. We're going to use the other side, and we're going to create our regenerative powers for our batteries. And then I'll probably hook those up, at least to get them all back into the whole recharging thing. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm a freak for boxes, because I want to know how much power I am... Why is it not connecting my box? There it is. I like to know how much power I am sending to my recharging system. And I am going to need splitters because I have so many backup batteries. It's just best to split it right at the beginning here. So that is... we can just go with that. Maybe I should make sure by making sure I got room down here first. I have to get 2 of them down here. I think it's okay for me to cross over that. I think you understand that those 2 lines were the power lines. But I should leave it over there so that people that see it afterwards, just in a picture or something, will understand. So I better leave it like that. It's a good thing I talked to myself, or I wouldn't understand what the hell I was doing. Now we're going to have, these things have 3 branches. We're only going to use 2 on the first one because we want to branch into this so that we have 6. Also, I need to change that to pass through because, again, I'm only worried about how much power. This is how much power is coming through that's excess that will be going to our backup batteries. I believe it's like 1100 or something right now. Okay. We're going to use 2 of these. And I'll just use the other one from this side for right now. Just make it all pretty. And so we now got it split, and there's lots of power coming through. These are all going to go to each one of these. They have to come through all the way down to the bottom, and then we're going to have to come out the top. So I have to kind of figure out how I want to make them work. And I think I'll just kind of come off to the side and down. And I'll just do the same kind of routine on all of them so that it all looks the same. So I'll just kind of come down here and down the middle, over and up, just to give it all the same kind of look so it doesn't get too confusing. And those of you that are already confused, don't worry about it. All we're hooking up right now is the displays that will be displaying how much each one of my backup batteries is charging. We'll change those all to pass through. So we know how much power is passing through there onto the next item, and that will be the backup battery itself. So it's splitting it up there from 1040, probably 1047, coming through and splitting it, and splitting it, and then splitting it down to here. And each one of those will then go to a backup battery. Start them charging. I guess we can go ahead and hook those up now. I will probably just run a couple of them and then I will just fast forward it and we will continue on. Didn't say I was a fast teacher. Now we're going from top of the box here, which is your actual power that we are running down here, and we're going to run it down here, and we're going to go to the backup battery. We want to keep it kind of structured. We're going to go to the first one. So it's got power coming in, and although it's already at 4 hours, it's just not losing any charge. These batteries were fully charged. And again, this will get kind of confusing and a mess, but as long as you understand what it is we're doing at the time, because I do have limited space, I didn't branch this out as much as I'd like. But again, you would only do this one time, just a straight line coming from here to a configured box like this, and then just running it straight to your single battery if that's what you were doing, but I'm doing several batteries. Okay, to recap where we're at right now. Got 2 lines coming down, power source. You see that it goes around and comes up here to 168, or actually it's 1,691 power units coming in combined. Coming up here, it splits off to where this is the actual power going to 354 that we will be using for my different quadrants, which will be 6 different quadrants. This, which is 1340, is coming out of the power side and coming up here to 3 splitters. We're just splitting this into 2. We're splitting these into 3. And this is for the recharge power that is coming back to my batteries. You'll notice that it's 221. Something about the batteries, we'll go through that right now. Your batteries disperse 100 units of power constantly. It has 4 hours charge, as you can see. You got a 4-hour charge. It disperses 100 units of power from the battery. it will only accept 100 units of power. I have 200 units of power, and of course that's more than you need, but that power is just sitting there. Through the night, that number will dwindle down to where there's not enough to power the whole thing, and that's the whole point, is that it's just sitting there. It doesn't take more than the 100, but eventually it'll get down below the 100. But your battery constantly disperses 100 units of power. If you have one light hooked up to it, it's going to last you 4 hours. If you have 50 lights hooked up to it, it's going to last you 4 hours. It's 100 units of power constant, and it'll only accept 100 units of power. So the 213 is excessive, but it's like a ladder. You're starting up here and you're working your way down. Once it gets below 100, then you're putting in less than the battery will take at 100%. So it's not really a waste, but it is. But the thing is, I also don't have anywhere else to put the power. It doesn't have any place important to go. Trust me, I will allocate exactly what it needs. The rest of it will go into recharge, and eventually even that will drop off to where it's not enough to do anything. So, that out of the way, we have run those lines across the floor to each one of the backup batteries, except the one down at the end that I may not need, but it's fully charged. I had 7 in my original system, and I found that I don't need that. So, from that display there, let me go into the bag here and get some more equipment. We're going to need ore box, and we are going to put that right about there. We are going to need another display box as to what it is going to compare against. And that is that, except I do an unneeded step. From here, all you really need is a blocker down here and your power from your battery coming into that for it to check up against this and that to decide which is the greater value. I micromanage the shit out of everything. So I put in one of these and a blocker. The blocker goes into this into there, and I micromanage the power grid. Because I'm a freak like that. That ain't so bad. Let me see here. I probably should put that. I think I'll just put it off to the side. It's gonna make this thing a little uglier, but I'm just gonna go with that. We're not going to worry about hooking this part of it up until the very end, because then I'll power the blockers so that we don't lose power from our batteries while we're just sitting here. Because I'm not going to put in our blockers, the power to the blockers just yet. So, we can wire it though. And then we want to come again from the branch side first. You always use the branch side, then you can use the other side, but we're not going to be using it. And we're going to be coming to here, and then we're going to come from here to this side, and we're going to come from here to this side. And the ore box is going to balance between the two and decide which power source is a higher value and use that power source. Right now we are using 354 to nothing. And that's because we haven't hooked up the battery. But when we do hook up the battery, when we hook up a switch that has power to the side of the blocker, which will block the energy from the battery, we can hook it up. But right now we would just be wasting energy. But right now it's checking nothing versus 354. 354 wins, believe it or not. From here we are going to go with, again, I micromanage everything. And we are going to put in a blocker. Trying to give myself enough room to work here. So I haven't actually done it this way. I was going in a different direction before. And then I'm going to put in that. And then I'm going to put in that because I'm just a freak like that. Okay. Now the reason I put in a blocker up here is because when I do finally run power to everything, this is my direct line. This will be a line going out to the first sector. And this number here will have to be changed. I may have to put something else in there. Yeah, I think I missed a step there. But that's all right. Easily repairable. But I'm going to have to put another branch in there so that I can branch off to the next branch and the next branch and the next branch, which I forgot to do. Again, this is not how I built it the first time. So, it does need a little bit of work, and I will fix it. So I'm going to put another one of those in there right now, I guess. I think I'm just going to go with it right down here, and I'll run those along the bottom, I guess. Because I oopsie boo-booed. Here. And from here, right side of the power. This is what I should have done to begin with. Oh, I need to configure this for 65, I think it is what I'm going to need for the first branch. Okay, I need one more. Yeah, that's because I need 65, or is it 64 that I need? I think 64 is what I need. I think I'm fine. So 64 will be the number that this line is going to run. I need 64 units of power. The rest of it we are going to connect past here, and we're going to run to the next loop that looks exactly like this as we go down the wall. So we need to connect from here to the branch to there, this to there. This is going to go out to our power, but I'm going to put in a line that connects everything, the power units. Okay, we need to oops, somehow I configured that back. We need to configure this, and when I configured this one, I'm just going to configure it for as much power as I think I will ever need. So we're just going to set it right now for 2,000. Why? Because nothing's coming back. Okay, I'm going to need two more units of power, at least. I need 2 more units of power, so we can get it here. You have to configure this one up. So we're going to have to go to 67. See, I got more things in the way up here. Oh, we only got 66. Is that correct? 42 or 62? I think we're good at 62. And that means there'll be no extra power going out of it. So, we got our in power branching off to our recharge, which I will be recharging several batteries. Branching off to the power that we have to run to our first set of lights, which I need 62 power at this point going out. I'm going to need more because I'm actually going to put in another one of these, so that way I never have to reconnect my lines again. As it is, every time I wipe this out, because I didn't put one of these in that connects to where the line goes, I have to restring it every time. So I'm going to put one of these in somewhere before the line goes out, and I'll never take those down again. But for right now, that is that string, and we are going to connect the next one. Now, it is going to fail. These numbers are going to go down, and the battery would normally kick in, and we're not going to be hooked up to the battery for it to actually do any of this just yet, because further down here, we're going to put in a splitter box with power coming in, and we're going to use all those at the same time. Actually, there's going to be 4 splitter boxes, and we're going to cover all of the blockers at the same time. So right now it's sending power up there, but it doesn't matter. It's not going anywhere. We're not hooked up to any lights or anything. But I do have to get things rolling. So we're just going to take that same routine. We're going to do the exact same thing over again. So we're just Gonna take this out here a little ways to kind of clean it up a little bit so you can kind of follow what I'm doing. I'm gonna move it down a ways. It looks like I got lots of room, folks, lots of room. So let's just go down here a ways. We're gonna do the same thing. Okay, from there I need, oh, I forgot to put a block in. See what I mean? Here, I can just set it in here for right now. No, I have to wipe it out anyway. So, I'm going to do the exact same thing we got going there. Put that there. I need another one over here. I need another blocker. I need a couple of displays. Ooh, we're running low on power. I didn't allocate enough, apparently. I think it's because I upped my numbers from what I normally do. So we need to come back here and configure this number up. Yeah, because we got plenty of juice. Okay, I need to configure this number up. We'll just go up, 10 or 15, something like that, 15 or so. So let's just go ahead and make this 70, 370. We'll micromanage it back later. So now that number should be back within reason. Now, for some reason, it doesn't let me go forward sometimes until you go backwards, though, and it unlocks it. I don't know what's going on. Just some horse crap is going on. But I can see it's got plenty now, and we'll fix that later when we adjust all the numbers. And we'll set that for 2,000. Open floodgates. It doesn't have to be that. It could be 200. It could be 100. Because I'm only sending 30 through. It doesn't matter what the number is. I just use that for open the floodgates. Your number can be anything. It can be one digit higher than that. You can say 31. Send 31 power units through. I only need 30. Okay. So for my needs, I need that many subsystems. If you're doing this just for like I say, for just your house or something like that, this is all you need. Except you don't need all of the 222s. You don't need the 3 boxes on the end. Just up where it says 134, you don't even need that box there. You can just run it straight from that green box out the right side. That will go to your battery to recharge it, and the rest of it would look the same. Your battery will go in the bottom of the blue box, which I don't have connected yet. I need to do that. And then I will put in my my blocker switches, which my blocker switches will be down here. Let's see how I can put those in to not make it nearly as ugly as it's going to be anyway. What am I done with here? I'm probably done with blocker switches. So, panels. Something restricts it. Now what I'm going to use is I'm going to be using a light source. I'm going to place, I'm going to use 4 of those independently. If I had less runs, let's say I only had like 2 or 3 sections, like you're doing maybe your quarry and your house or something like that, and you had them separated and you only had 2 of them. In that case, I would just like run one line from a solar panel down to this and use a splitter which has 3, but only use 2 portions of it, and that way you're only using one solar panel to be your blocker. In my case, I have 12 blockers that need to be blocked out, so I put in 4 sets of panels because I have 3 tips on each one to be my blockers, and I'm going to actually use 4. I could use more splitters and use just 1, but I would have to use so many more splitters to split it to each one of these having power and things like that, and it's just ridiculous. So I will be using 4 just to make it easy, kind of painless, because you do want it to be a little painless. Let me see if I got okay, I got panels. I got 4 of them with me. I need 4 panels. I think I will put mine in the front. Now you're also going to notice that my panels, a lot of these are in areas that are shady, which of course is a no-no, but you don't know exactly where the shade is going to be depending on the day, on the part of the day. Now, do I care that these are blocked out by shade? No, not in the least, because they're not my main power source. If you look at what we got going on here, the reason I got them all packed in there, now I do get quite a bit of light, especially from these center ones like this. When you leave them like that, you get less chance of having the back of one casting a shadow on it, unless it's already in a configuration that is not getting light. Like if light was coming from there, the back sides of these wouldn't be getting light anyway, and it doesn't really matter. But the reason I have so many of these just crammed in there is because that's all unusable space. Those windmills have to be so far apart, can't be within a certain distance of each other. So that's just unused space. So I use that up. If it casts a shadow on it, I don't care. I'm just using what power I can get from that source. I don't care too much about it. I want as many as I can out in the open, but I'll take what I can get. So I'll just put them in there, and throughout the day, as the sun changes in position, they're going to get some light. Sometimes they're not going to get any because of shadows. So those are zeros. Do I care about zeros? No. This was all just taking up space that couldn't be used for anything else. I didn't do it over there. I don't need to do it at my other place. But I'm going to put 4 panels in here, and those are going to act as my triggers. Maybe I got room for them somewhere else. Let me look. I don't think so. I think I got room for like 1 or 2 over in that corner. Looks like 1. So I'm going to put 4 of these in. Dang chopper. I definitely don't need him around right now. I got my inventory's kind of full. I could probably take off some of this stuff just so I don't get myself shot to shit. No weapons. We're good. Don't see him, but I hear him. Okay, I'm going to slap 4 of them down here, and I'm thinking maybe we got east and west. I don't really like south as a direction, so I might put 4 of them. I'm thinking at an angle. I should have probably turned those the other direction, back and forth. Yes. No. Wait a minute. Yeah, because I would kind of like them to come on, to turn off as early in the morning as possible. So it doesn't really matter. I will just put a couple of them the other direction, so that hopefully they'll catch the early morning light and turn my shit off, and the other ones will have a better chance of catching the evening light and not turning them on as soon. So we'll go with that. Okay. I think before I continue on with those, I'd like to put in... Oh, I can run those straight the way they are. You can get it down the crack. You don't really show the wire as much. You can get it down there as far as you can. And these are going to run almost all the way down to the end, don't they? They're probably like right down in here. So we will start to see line there. Ooh, we didn't get it. It's inside the wall still. Good job. Oh, we're on the next floor. We still got to go down. Whatever. I'm good with it. Okay, so I'm thinking we'll just go to this first one. Just to get that rolling. I'll go grab power from the next one, the next one, the next one. Okay, so all the little subsystems are put in. I have not hooked up the backup batteries yet. We've not hooked up power to anything yet. These boxes here have one solar panel each hooked up to them, which will be used to power my blockers. So I'm going to start up here at the top, I think. The way I set them up so that I could probably run like 3 lines down this way, you know, so it doesn't get too confusing. As long as you understand what it is we've got in the tree going up, which is real simple. You know, the tree itself is real simple. As you go up, it's always the same. It's repetitive all the way down. So I'm going to run 3 lines across through there and 3 lines down through here, and then I don't know if I'm going to be able to get 3 through there or if I'm going to run them on the floor, but something like that, so I don't ugly it up too much. So I'm actually going to kind of go up a little and then just kind of cross through. And I only have to go to 3. So I think I'll go over here. And kind of wanted to be more square, but I did that. Second one, we're just going to kind of go straight across. It only has to go to the second one, so. I think all these are probably just going to go across the floor. It's really going to get confusing, but there will only be one line coming across, which would be the batteries. I could just hook them up real quick, and all the blocker switches will be put in one at a time. So right now this one's coming like pretty much right across from that line, so we'll just hook that up. Do I already have the first one in? No, I don't. That is the first one, isn't it? I do have 7 batteries. Originally, I had one set in here to automatically back this up if it gets below 100. And it's not a bad call, because then a portion of it, no, none of it would still go to backup, because it would still go down the line, so it's redundant. It's just me trying to find a way to use my other battery. And there really is no need for it. So we're going to just come that straight across, and I'll decide what I want to do with it once I get down there. Or maybe I should have brought it, because I want it to go straight across. So maybe I'll bring it there, then over. over to about there. Now, the moment I click this, it's immediately going to be sending power up to that box, and it's going to immediately be drawing power to the battery until I hook up the blocker switch. Well, it won't be for a couple of minutes, but I don't care. I'm not losing that much power. You can see the turbines and everything are getting low. The amount of power that's being recharged and everything is getting lower. The system is dying. It's beautiful, isn't it? I don't have backup batteries set up to run, but they'll be set up for the next run. But I love watching its heartbeat lower to where we start losing power and backup batteries take over. Right now, it's not going to happen, and I don't care. Actually, they will take over, because as soon as I hook these up, the next one is about a quarter way across here. So, even on the right line, yeah, probably. We get it? Yeah, we got it. Okay, so everything's set up the way I like it. Again, you would have 98 or 99 over here, and just running through there, and it takes over your whole system, and everything, boom, and everything, you're all happy, hunky-dory. I do that simply because I like to micromanage my system and not let the backup battery take over until my system fails. And I have just enough power. I don't want to add more power. I don't want to add more turbines. I don't want 1,000,000 turbines out there, because then my power will never fail. I want it to be enough power to run my place and fail, so that the backup batteries have to bail me out and do a wonderful job doing it. So now they all got power. And it's becoming daylight and would normally go off. Oh, we do have most. All of the... Oh, we don't have the bottom ones. We don't have blockers in the bottom ones. But still... Oh, I don't have lights either hooked up. We got a long ways to go, folks. All right. I gave it a couple minutes to get a little more daylight so we can get this done. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these almost... I'm probably going to run them all on the ground, just so that I don't muddy up the wall too much more. And this first one I'm just going to run right straight to this blocker down here, because it's right in our dang face. Come on, hook up, hook up, hook up. Come on now. So, but the rest of them, I think I'm going to run them all the way down to the floor and then out. And then I will hook them up individually. So I'm going to come out a little ways, because I don't want to muddy up all of the other lines, even though... it's not as pretty as I'd like it anyway. I don't like my line to go directly like into the side of the blocker from a straight line like that, because you're not sure exactly where it came, where it went. I don't want it to go in there either. I want to be able to show the line a little bit, and then it can go in, so it doesn't get too muddied as far as where that line's going. Just explaining that there's a method to my madness. I'm going to try to run these straight as I can. west. Oh, just anywhere on the other side of that line, I guess. Looks good. Close enough. I am going to use that other battery. I'm going to put some stuff in there. But I'm going to have to find a way to block it, too. Okay. So, everything's hooked up except power lines. This one goes to the front of my quarry on the right side. Slow down when I get close to the edge here, because I need to put that. I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to run, jump across. I left myself a ladder here. We're already set there. I think we're already configured for how many lights and power and all that kind of stuff. Just going to leave that door open for a moment. I guess we're going to take the quick way down. Now we got to do, wait for the power to come on. But I believe everything is all set up. So this is something weird. When I logged in today and I got here, first thing I noticed was ungodly numbers. Because I was putting back, I don't know what we got up there, we got 1,093 we're putting back in the batteries. But we're still getting 1,086 through here. This is a splitter. This is a splitter and this is a splitter. And the numbers just went whack. I know nobody can explain this. It's something that they need to fix, because they did something, because I didn't. But those numbers should not be nearly identical after going through 3 splitters. I know, right? So all we're really waiting on now is for it to get dark, so we can just see that the system comes on, hopefully as intended, that the lights will come on when it gets dark, or dark enough. The backup batteries will come on. Please understand that when the backup battery comes on and it throws a number up here that's going to say 33, it is actually pumping out 100 units of power. I am just micromanaging it down. It does not save me anything, and I know that. You might as well just run it straight from the blocker in. If you want to know how much power it is, run it through the little display box. I'm just using it through that extra branch because I'm micromanaging it, because I don't want it to kick in when it can. I want it to kick in when my system fails itself. So when my system stops pushing 34 units of power through here down to 33, I want it to kick in before any lights go off, and nobody is the wiser, and my unit worked exactly as I designed it, because I'm a freak. Through the magic of Weezy TV, we're gonna pass time. batteries just kicked in, lights came on. Again, that number there would be 98 or 99 depending on what you're coming through your battery. You don't need to do all this. This is what I do because I'm a freak. So it would be 98 or 99 power versus 66. 99 would win. Your backup battery would take over. But because I'm a freak, I want to micromanage it and not let it take over until my system fails. So each one of these is set one number lower, which also still is enough to power all of my lights. The way to adjust all of this to know what your numbers are. So let's say you're down here and this is all you build, and you don't build all this freaky shit over here. And you just run it from here out to your battery to recharge, your single one battery. And then this would be your system here, not the part with the 72, just the 62, this tree right here. This would be your power in from your battery. You would have one of these over here, which would be your power coming from your windmill and your solar. And you would have it going just like this. I use the boxes. You don't need to. If you can't afford to, don't. If you can afford to, you're better. And again, you don't need to do that. And that's just all you do is your single tree. And if you want your lights to go off during the day and come on at night, and your battery backup to only be allowed to jump in at that point, you're going to want those hooked up to a solar panel. And the best way to do that, if you're going to use more than one blocker, which in a single phase unit like this going to your house or something like that, you really are going to use two of those. So you might as well just use one solar panel and a blocker. So you use one solar panel coming down to it, and then just use two of these instead of three. Just use two of these and run them to, like, you know, right next to your unit there. Just pop one there, one pop there, you're done. And that's all you got to do to make that happen. Anyway, it looks like that's going to be it. Let me go make sure my lights are on. Lights are usually on and there's nobody home. We got lights on front and back. But like I was saying, in order to find out if you're putting in excess power, because let's say you weren't sure what you needed, so you said, well, just set it for 100. And then you run to the end of your line. In my case, it's going to be that upper corner up there. And this should be the end of that line. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to check your pass-through. And as you see, it's empty, which means there's no connection. And I have 3 units of power left. That means I can decrease what's coming off of this one by 3. If I want to be a total freak about it. And I do. But that's what I do. You go to the end of the line, find out what you got left for power. There's nothing connected to it, so it's empty. 3 units of power left. That means that all of mine are probably going to be 3 units of power, no matter which one I check, unless it's a household line or my my jail and power station line. But I'll work on micromanaging those later. I'm just showing you how to check it and how to adjust it, so that, say you don't have as much power as I do and you need to run as much excess power back to your backup battery to charge. That was actually this line right here, and we can deduct this number up here by 3. Okay? So all we need to do is deduct this by 3, and then I should be able to deduct this by 3 so it doesn't kick in until I tell it to again. And then I will also be able to deduct this by 3. So this one I have set to 2000, so it'll send everything I send through to it. And see how it's not lit up? If you click on that and then you say set again, it works for some reason. I don't know why these things are that way. There's just some weird shit going on. And I've seen it like it does it on all of them. Like you set it and you don't forget it, you have to come back to it over and over again. And then you get stuck on these lines every now and then. and you'll see that at the far end of my other line, which I will probably have to adjust. Again, I use this number just because. And I know that I'm still good no matter what we're doing. But that's how you adjust it. It's going by the end of the line, find out what you have left at the end of your pass-through, and you can come back and adjust that down, because anything you save there, and you can save here by reducing here, goes up to your recharge. In this case, it's some freaky thing that's going on that should not be happening. But it's on video. Get that right, Thumper. Try to figure that out for me. Okay? We're coming out of here running 383. Going into a splitter, using 2 portions of the splitter. One of them is empty. Splitter, empty, splitter, boom, boom. And all 3 of these, on all 3 of them, are going to these boxes, showing us what our current power is going to our recharge for batteries. You know what's going on. You know where I learned this. That's some freaky stuff, ain't it? Damn it. Does that every time I come back on the screen. So I've gone through and I've adjusted everything. I don't have the solar panels exactly that I want. Turn on the lights at the right time and stuff like that, but it's not bad. Not bad. And the backup batteries are got a pretty good solar panel because it allows them to stay on until it's definitely morning and it recovers. But I've gone through and I've adjusted by unhooking most of my windmills. In fact, I have like 8 windmills or something like that, and only 3 of them are hooked up. The idea is to keep the power low, because what fun is it if I put 16 billion windmills up there and I never run out of power? The whole idea is to have fun with it. So I've reduced the amount of power that I'm bringing in by significant amounts, so that my system fails. And I'm trying to get it to fail at least all the way down to here. It doesn't necessarily have to fail here. I would like to see it fail here. It doesn't have to get to 0. But I'd like to see it get below 64. I would like to see it make the backup battery here take over. I have seen it take over on these other areas. But on a windy night, it never drops down this far. Sometimes it gets down here, but that's good enough too. At least 4 of my stations get down to where they fail, but I would love to get, and I have had it to where this one failed, but I never got to where I got this one to fail. And I'm trying to get it all the way down to where all of my routines are failing, and backup batteries are juicing them up until morning, and everything is all hunky-dory, and no one even saw anything. So that's the goal. But I've gone through and I've adjusted every one of the lanes. See, oh good, we are losing power here already. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. She lives by dying. In case I decide to shoot the wall again. Cool. No power there. This one should start dropping. It does sound like those wind turbines are really moving up there. I'm hoping for calmer than that. She lives by failing. She is beautiful. I don't really want to take another one offline and make it just one windmill. But that might be the way to go. Try that for 24 hours. want it to go deeper than that. I'll pull another one offline. It's not going to get us there tonight, but it seems like we get rid of a lot of this stuff. So I'm down to one windmill, and all the rest is solar. That should help get us there. Oh yes, see, because at least that way we know that the backup battery had to take over here also. That's beautiful. We'll see how low it goes, and we'll check it on other nights. But as it is, there's not a single light down in the entire place. And every backup battery is being used. Which is the actual final goal, is to have it die down to where everything is dependent on the backup batteries and then recover 100%. And as my system beats the number that I've allocated for the battery, it's simply saying, I got this, I'll let you know if I need your help. First system is ready, just about ready to come back online, and tell the backup battery to just take a chill pill. She lives because she has no problem dying. Backup battery has been told to stand by, and we will start pumping into the next lane. Oh, she is beautiful. I cannot wait until the next night. I hope it's a night where the wind just isn't rolling that much. But there's still plenty of solar panels on there to give this thing a huge amount of energy to recharge during the day and slowly fail at night. She's slowly building back up. Yes, we should start having input from the light sources, and then this will just rise dramatically. Lights go out. It's not a bad time, not a great time. Doesn't make it super dark. I think we're good. That's not a bad time for the lights to go off. See if there's any problems here. Oh god, no, there's no problems with that. Didn't go with that. Yeah, so I would say the lights are going off at approximately the time I would like them to. Batteries are getting recharged again. Numbers are not correct again, but they are better than what they were doing the other day, which was like down only 2. Now they're at least splitting it in half, even though it should be half of that half. Or less than that even. System is recovering. System has recovered completely. Backup batteries are on standby. And they do run kind of long into the morning, and I don't like that, so I might have to, find a better source for my blocker switches. But the thing is, I don't mind the backup battery still being on and not being used. It's just there. It's just like its normal schedule. Is that we fail all the way down at night and take over, and then the morning crew comes in and takes over the power supply, and we sit here until everything's hunky-dory, and then we go offline. Beautiful. Nothing wrong with that. The system hasn't gone offline yet. It will. As soon as that solar panel gets a light source, it'll block those blockers, and this one will be back to constant recharge. So I might just go up there and bash all those windmills, put them on the market. Well, I'm thoroughly satisfied with that. So we're going to call that good. Appreciate you watching. You made it this far. It was a big ordeal, actually. Tried to speed it up where I could. I hope I helped you a little bit, or hope you at least gave you some ideas. You see that I'm an overachiever and a freak. We'll see you in the next one. Oh. But what to my wondering eyes should appear